scaled position, which is where they can do some work. Let's get into draft for game 2. Rogue on the blue side, they're going to take away Skarner, Yone removed by Fnatic.
Yeah, I think we may not get it as explosive as an early game from Fnatic, because certainly with the Kalista and the Pantheon, that kind of had all the tidings of, hey, we're going to get onto the map, nice and early. But I want to see now what the answer is for Rogue, because you've kind of gotten the tools that have Adam been looking great on the Jace, a lot of comfort for Larssen on the Victor, even Patrik getting things like the Varus, which is one of the strongest picks on the patch, hasn't really worked out. So I think there's a lot of questions on what Rogue want to prioritize.
Well, they're going to get rid of the Vi, the Rumble, and the Skarner. Fnatic, having already taken away the Yone, will add the Sejuani to that list. And for their final ban, I mean, there's a bunch of options still. You could look for one of the engaged supports if you want. You could remove Gwen, who would be the other AP top laner.
And Bessa, also something that's on my mind, but just because Oscarinin, I think, has actually played it very well over the last couple of games he's brought out. But Zinzel going to be the take instead. Okay.
All right, get rid of an aggressive jungler, right? Someone that can really snowball leads through the early game. I wonder where Razork will want to go. Neferi still available, was nerfed a little bit last match. I don't think she was touched on 25.08, if I recall correctly, but instead it is Azir for Larssen. So scaling for Larssen does make sense. That's what the analyst test talked about, what they wanted to see from Rogue.
I think it's also just once you get to this point of draft, Azir just becomes kind of king in the mid lane. Like, Taliyah is always the answer for it, but it's just such a powerful pick, and Taliyah can shut it down by the fact that you can't go for these big sweeps in the mid to late game. Definitely nerf some of the playmaking potential of the champion, but still just an incredibly strong pick of the patch. Also the fact they're going towards the MF, so already setting up for another strong bot lane in Fnatic that they want to look to play through and play around. Still need big engage for this, so maybe Mikyx looking at something like a Leona or even the Rakan to try and set up for that big AoE ulti.
I wouldn't mind that. Amumu support as well always springs to mind whenever I see an MF. We don't see it that much these days, but does give you that curse of the sad bullet time. A classic combination in League of Legends. Ivern and Leona, the picks for Rogue. So very supportive jungler, very aggressive, or at least CC heavy support. I
do tend to like Ivern though when you have the Azir, because obviously the items that he likes to pick up enable auto attacking champions, and Azir just gets that benefit now with the change he got like sometime last year. Where you applies on hit effects, so I think it just makes a ton of sense. More than likely going towards something like, I'd imagine, the Zyra or one of these more on-hit AD carries in that bottom side. So may end up looking at a little bit of a early lane swap, I'll say, coming through from Rogue to try and get out of it. Ashe would probably be one of the picks I'd also ban here from Fnatic, just to try and limit the long-range auto attacks that Rogue have.
Yeah, I agree with you there, 100%. Get rid of that pick potential as well from the arrow and the hawk shot that can track the Zyra. One of the reasons you pick the Zyra into the Ivern is how quick her clear is. She can really get through those camps really quickly. Ivern's first clear obviously very speedy as well, because you just set up all the camps and then you take them on your re-clear. So Razork actually the only player in the LEC, I believe, to have won on the Zyra so far. I saw 1 and 5 pop up on the screen, and Razork has 100% win rate on it. So upset yet to die on the MF as well in the one game that he's played on it, but he didn't die in that one game. He's actually done a really good job of not dying across the course of the entire
As a statistician, my one-game sample sizes are my favorite.
Yeah. So upset will never die on MF.
Ever.
Fnatic will definitely win the game because they have 2 100% win rate champs.
Yep.
They actually have 3 because the Taliyah is 100% win rate as well.
Oh, we're popping for Fnatic.
That we are.
That's a grabs draft if they've ever seen it.
We'll see where Fnatic decide to go with the supports. It was Ezreal and the Corki banned away, Nautilus and Gnar taken away by Rogue. The Rakan that you talked about would make a lot of sense. I believe, though, Mikyx has only won 1 of his 3 games on Rakan.
Never mind.
So does that balance out the 100% win rate in the rest of the draft? I think so.
Mathematically speaking, I don't want to do maths on gas, so I will move on from that one. But Jhin, I actually like the Jhin in this sort of, well, I was going to say, I like the Jhin for the matchup. I think Leona Jhin, very strong, and it's something that can try and bully the MF and the Rakan in the early stages. But I think the biggest issue is the Jhin just doesn't make a huge amount of work with the Ivern. You can still kind of lean on the Azir as that late game carry, but I prefer more on-hit or regularly auto-attacking DPS whenever I have an Ivern on the team.
I agree with that. I think Ivern's can forego the Ardent Sensor as well and go Moonstone Redemption Dawn Core. And obviously it does still help if you're getting some of those extra hits in, but gives you a little bit more just sustained healing through the fight and shielding. We saw the possible Garen, the possible Kennen, and instead the blind Renekton with Gnar banned away.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world. I think the second options here is Oscarinin. Like, this does remove Ambessa from the pool, which is kind of what I think they were nervous about, the Ambessa or 5, but Renekton is incredibly strong into that pick, so I don't think we'll be going towards that, but we'll have to see exactly what the answer is. Jax.
Yeah. Okay. It's a tale of as old as time. Jax, Renekton, top lane matchups. Really about, does the Counter-Strike stop the Ruthless Predator stun? Does the Renekton manage to get extra damage off early? Usually swings towards the Jax as the game goes later, because Jax just scales a bit better than Renekton, and Renekton is more about, can I isolate someone in a team fight with Slice and Dice, Flash Ruthless Predator? But
yeah, it's kind of like level 1 to 3 is Jack's favorite, because the Counter-Strike, you get the level 2 and then move on. But as you say, once you get to kind of a level 11, it kind of starts to teeter over in favor of the Jax. It becomes very difficult. And I think this is where, I think oftentimes when I look at MF, I think, oh, the composition needs to revolve around MF and the bullet time. But I think what a lot of teams have started to do is kind of what we're seeing on Fnatic now, which is shift away from, I want these big AoE CCs to lock people in place. Instead, I'm going to use this bullet time as a wave clear tool, try and play aggressive on the mid lane as well, and bully out the opposition, and then I can play it to sides. And especially when you've got like a Rakan who's very good on a roam, and trying to move him around the map to play for these two side laning expert champions makes a lot of sense.
And it's what Fnatic did really well in game 1 as well. Their movement around the map was what left Rogue a little bit dizzy between the 14 and the 25-minute mark. They managed to snowball the gold out of Rogue's favor. Fnatic are looking very solid so far this week. They're looking down the barrel of a 2-0 week. For Rogue, they really need to bounce back. Currently sitting at only 1 win and 4 losses in total. We're kind of starting to walk towards playoffs. It's slower than it usually is, but you're getting towards, weeks. We're in week 4, week 5, week 6, week 7. Obviously, that's how maths works.
But it's also the fact that Rogue have played so many of their games already.
They only have 3 series left after this one. 3 series. And the expectation is 4 series wins or 5 series wins is going to get you into top 6. That's kind of where we usually look. Rogue have SK on Monday, and then Carmine Corp and MCoy left.
Oh, nice and easy way to
That is a really difficult road for Rogue. If they can somehow sneak away a win here, then they just need to somehow sneak away another win against either Carmine Corp or MCoy, and also beat SK. It's going to be difficult for Rogue to make playoffs. I'm not going to mince my words, but we have seen stranger things happen.
Minions have spawned.
Yeah, but Gillies isn't.
That's true. We don't have the God of Lee Sin.
And that does make it tough.
That does make it tough. That was a long time ago now. 2019? Honestly?
I don't even know.
2018? Anyway.
I was still over in China at that stage.
Yeah, true. For Fnatic, they just want to continue their winning ways. 3-1, sitting atop the charts here in the LEC, just behind Carmine Corp and G2. Carmine Corp have played an extra series, so if Fnatic win this, they would even out with their French rivals in that #1 spot. As Execute looks to push Mikyx out, but Upset and Mikyx hold their distance well, get the Guardian proc off as well, and Patrik and Execute will be forced onto that back foot. Oh, good damage though with the 4th shot onto Mikyx. He will have the Gleaming Quill though, so should be able to heal up in this lane a little bit. It's hard for Execute to not give away that healing. You see Mikyx actually leveling up the Grand Entrance first. But when you're playing melee into Rakan, it's really hard not to just give him the healing, because he can step up, use that Q just outside of your auto range, and then dance back.
Yeah, it makes it very hard. But it looks like Rogue should still be able to get the level 2, so they're going to be happy out and just continue to bully through that lane. This is a definite kill lane whenever you see Jhin and Leona. There's a huge amount of opportunity to take out the opposite side, so I'm curious to see how Malrang wants to try and introduce himself into that bottom half of the map, because I think even if you end up going for a counter gank as Fnatic, all of your players are kind of squishy on the bottom side, so it feels like, if you jump in to save Mikyx as Razork, you kind of just take his place in the shooting line.
You definitely do. No real tanks as Malrang walks across, puts a couple of bushes down for Larssen, which means he'll get a little bit more damage. If you're in one of those bushes, Ivern helps you out a tad. Razork has been pinged out on his red buff, so Rogue should know exactly where he is. Adam's lane is pushing out towards Oscarinin, so there's always a risk for the Croc here. He's going to meet up with Razork, gets the ward in, and stuns up Oscarinin. But now Adam has to play a little bit more defensively as this wave is shoving away from him.
Yeah, I think you'll see Razork, though, just basically moving in, wants to clear out this ward, realizes there's no camps on the top side as well, so Adam needs to be a little careful. Got the second half of the slice and dice there to get away, but this is just a perfect spot now for Oscarinin to be able to catch this wave and grow out this lead. Well, start trying to grow out a lead from the top side.
Yeah, just trying to garner a little bit of extra gold in his pockets. It can be those, 2-3 CS that really make the difference. Razork is going all the way behind the tower here. Flash? Razork flashed over as well! Oh! I mean, that's dodged. I didn't see the Razork flash, but avoids the vision, flashes around. And for 2 flashes, Fnatic get first blood.
Yeah, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't there, as Adam. Like, you have to try and get that wave crash, because otherwise it just gets frozen on you by Oscarinin. You don't get to touch the wave and you start to fall behind. But if you go for the wave, well, you know Razork's there. And look, at least it's 2 flashes burned, but that's a very difficult position for Adam.
Oh, I love this as well. Oscarinin actually TP to bot off his reset, so they're going to switch the lanes around. You can see Razork here. Flashes, tanks the tower shot, and Adam's like, okay, well, I guess I'm just screwed in this position anyway. Oscarinin TPs to the bot wave because Adam had forced out top, so Upset can reset, go up there, catch that, and it sets them up well for Grubs in a minute and a half.
I will say, though, that it is now Upset who is behind, though, because the wave did crash, and you can see in the CS there, he will even it up quite a bit, but he will actually lose out on a little bit there because that wave had already hit the tower. So, it is still going to be fine, but it's like just a little bit of a lead now for Patrik, even though it was working well for him already.
Yep. Very much agreed with you. Upset using that struck to get back to the wave as quickly as possible. It's one of the benefits of MF is the ability to move between the waves. Same with Humanoid, who can rock surf next to those bits of terrain. So actually Humanoid, I think, almost could have killed Larssen if he'd hit his threaded volley on the seismic shove a little bit earlier. Grand entrance coming out. Shield of Daybreak up for execute. Now slowed up. Won't have that stun anymore. Still has the Zenith Blade, but doesn't really want to go back in. So just forced all the way back underneath this tower.
The resistance is, though, doing work, so Execute could actually get out of there. Razork was only finishing his camp, so couldn't quite be in a position to follow up. But again, Razork kind of sticking around this top side, wanted to try and play for Grubs plus his bot lane here, but maybe fishing for mid as Larssen takes a bad trade.
Razork coming across. Larssen has the flash and will use it to get away from those grasping roots.
Yeah, unfortunate for Larssen. Like, it started off as a decent trade, but as soon as Razork shows up, it makes it very much worse for Wear. And Adam, they're doing okay in bot, but dodge
played on Mikyx. He's stunned up underneath the tower while he's tanking it. Mikyx not going to die to the tower shot. Got Guardian, used heal, and had a Gleaming Quill proc.
Yeah, unfortunate. Patrik. Oh, not quite able to hit with the deadly flourish, but yeah, not being able to get at least just one more auto off could have been the end of it, but Mikyx ends up surviving, and now we're just having a fight around Grubs, which I think it's a good call from Rogue to contest.
Yeah, Malrang walked across and just smoked one away from Razork.
Yeah.
So he just steals it away. Now, Razork can't get that 6 grub stack that worked out so well for Fnatic in game 1. It's still a 600 gold lead for Fnatic. They're definitely in the lead as the grasping roots are going to hit onto Malrang, but he's just chunked out. Not really much more going to happen.
I don't think Malrang really needed to take that route, to be perfectly honest.
He's a tree, he takes all the routes.
Well, you know, in the infinite routes that could have been taken.
Yeah, but if you get all the routes out, then the Xylem and the Phloem suck up that good watery stuff.
Okay, yeah. And then the Chlorophyll's in the middle there.
Yeah.
And okay, yeah. But it does mean Fnatic are able to get the next 2. I don't think Rogue were going to commit to a trade, like, to go for the following 2. But it does mean that you now have to try and position yourself into this bottom side to look for the Dragon trade. They're going to look for Oscarinin.
Ruthless Predator stun. Root Caller doesn't quite connect because Oscarinin can just leap strike his way to safety. Humanoid's walking down the river right now and will spot Malrang, who isn't going to be able to get the Scuttle Crab too easily.
Yeah, see, the thing was, the Fnatic shifted Mikyx to the mid lane so that then Humanoid could guarantee the push on mid, and then Humanoid started to rotate down river to see what Rogue were up to. So it meant that you weren't actually able to commit to very much on the bottom side of the map here, and it's Fnatic kind of covering their bases. Meanwhile, Razork gets to fully clear out his jungle and be in a position now to contest.
Oscarinin chased out by Adam here, who flashes. There's the root caller follow-up, and Daisy's here for the party. Adam gets the first kill for Rogue on the board. And even out the gold lead as well. Execute stepping forward here. Mikyx and Upset showed on the top wave. So Rogue know they have at least a one-man advantage, or a person and a Daisy, I guess.
A nice plays, though, from Rogue. Finding that timing window just before Oscarin's TP comes back up and Adam's able to punish. Now that's a couple of plates that are going over. You're going to start up Dragon here as well. and just nice window of opportunity for Rogue to punish.
I mean, it's a crazy good window. Like, if Fnatic had done this, it looks like game one, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
they just totally outmaneuvered Fnatic on the map. They get themselves back in the gold lead. Well, really in the gold lead for the first time this series. They'll get a Drake. They'll get 3 plates in the bot lane. Rogue have started this game off swinging. For Fnatic, though, they'll be looking to strike back, and I wonder how they're going to do that, because Oscarinin is pushed up a little bit too far on the bot side. Does still have the flash, has that leap strike. Execute here with the Shield of Daybreak. Counter-Strike comes out first. They don't get any of the CC. Okay, well, yeah, you got to hit one of those. You got to hit one of those. And because Fnatic know there's 3 players on the bottom side, they'll come in and invade this top side.
Yeah, so Fnatic going to respond well. Oscarinin with the fancy footwork means that he's fine. But Adam doesn't actually get to answer for the waves that's about to crash in top. Upset set up a very slow push on this top half. So Adam trying to reconnect with the wave here, but I don't know if he'll get there.
He might start to walk up. Executes on his way.
Yeah.
Adam doesn't have the dominus right now, nor does he have his flash. Grand entrance coming out from Mikyx. He's going to have to battle dance back to Upset. So Adam will be able to get to the wave and clear it out with the Cold and Meek. The plate did not quite fall there. So Upset will very greedily want to push this one out again. Can do it pretty safe.
Calculated, Malrang stole 1 of those Void Grubs, which is just enough to keep the burn off. And we'll just ignore our pin.
Well, made him stay for an extra wave, you know? Made him stay for an extra wave. See the TP coming out from Adam towards that bottom lane. He's going to answer Oscarinin's push. He will lose about half this wave or so as he does manage to get down here. And for the briefest of moments, Rogue were in the lead, but Fnatic extend that gold lead once again to about 1,000 in their advantage.
Yeah, I think it's just, as you can see, just the CS leads that are starting to be picked up. Like, Razork has just been power farming through, as you said. Now also looking for a play on top side, but kind of the benefit of the Zyra into Ivern, as you were alluding to, as we saw it in draft, but also just Upset sticking around in a lot of these lanes has meant that as Patrik has shifted to cover for Adam on the bottom side, or they went for that play to get the turret plates on bot side, they are sharing XP and sharing CS, whereas Upset is getting that solo. So that's where you're starting to see sizable CS lead, but also a sizable experience lead for Upset.
And you see the experience deficit for Mikyx as well. He's about half a level behind Execute right now. Isn't going to be level 6 for the second set of Void Grubs. Execute, if he steals one of these minions, there we go, takes the cannon, gets his level 6. So a discrepancy in terms of ultimates between the supports, at least, for what could be the next fight. Fnatic will want 2 of these grubs to get themselves the mites. Razork has a ton of damage, though, already has that Liandry's complete. Malrang and Patrik are going to start up the grubs. I have the assistance of Daisy. Mickey on his way out of base, but still only about near the Razor Beaks. So a couple of seconds before he's able to rejoin this. Rogue have taken 1.
You're going to lose a wave on top side as Rogue, as they all commit for this.
Razork, Solar Flare, Flash Shield of Daybreak, but there's no damage to follow up, and the Strangle Thorns will keep Rogue at bay. Bullet time opens up, Patrik has to flash away, Malrang falling low, shields himself, but it's not enough, and Humanoid will weave his way to another kill. Fnatic find 2 in the battle. Humanoid can't quite get Execute or Larssen in the end, but he forces them away from the tower. Fnatic don't even turn their backs towards the grubs. Instead, they are looking for more of these plates. Mickey very aggressive as he steps forward, knowing he can just grand entrance, a grand exit back towards the safety of Upset.
Yeah, I have to double check in the replay, but there was just no real follow-up from Rogue. I'm not sure if Larssen tried to go for the shuffle in and got hit by Taliyah's Unraveled Earth, but Mickey now starting to wrap around again.
There's the quickness, and Larssen doesn't get away in time. Mickey takes the kill, Upset takes the plate, while Mickey gets a helping of it as well. And Razork takes the grubs.
Yeah, really well played. Level 6 just been hit by Mickey, but we'll see it here. So I love this from Execute. Go on towards Razork. He's not great, but yeah, so right as Azir went in for the sweep, you end up with the Taliyah Unraveled Earth stunning him. So Larssen can't get the play, has to flash out. And then it's Upset coming in with the bullet time over the side, just finishing off members. Great wall from Humanoid as well, just to lock down the Jhin. So nicely played by the Fnatic mid laner, kind of set up a lot of that success for Fnatic there.
Yeah, now they're 3,000 gold ahead.
Yeah,
right there.
that'll do it.
Little bits in the early game, we were praising Rogue. We were like, oh, really nice movement towards the bot side. They get the Drake out of it as well. All it takes is a couple of fights. Now Fnatic are well in control of this game. Bloodthirst are complete for Upset. Humanoid, of course, he's got a Rod of Ages. I feel like, are they called Rod of Ages because it takes ages for them to feel really effective? Or until the build becomes useful?
Probably.
Or
Yeah, it's probably a play on words.
Because Rod of Ages is also like it feels like it should be an impactful thing. Whenever I see one built, I'm like, eh.
Yeah, but when it hits 10, you're like, oh, you know,
A whole extra skill point.
yeah. But also,
Or
like, it
level,
just
I
gives you
guess,
a really
yeah.
nice, like, yeah, it gives you a nice ability bar, it gives you all
I
that
mean,
good
yes,
stuff.
I know
health,
it gives
and-
you a bunch of stuff.
yeah.
We're just seeing it on every champion right now. It's a little tedious. It's like AD carry builds. You know? It's all the same. I say with the two AD carries that don't build the same stuff in the game. Anyway, we can talk about mage itemization until the cows come home. For the moment, Adam is looking to see if his chickens have come back home to roost because the collapse from Fnatic is here. Maybe just going for those plates. They do have the grubs from the mites from the 4 grubs they've secured. Seismic Shove not going to hit. Adam dancing in and out of those bushes, but another plate over to Fnatic, and Razork looking for that flank position. Lands the grass and roots, there's the Stranglethorns, and Malrang is decimated, taken down to about 10% HP. And forced away from the tower. This is what Fnatic did well in game 1 as well. It's just about chunking someone out around a tower and then making sure you can secure that objective.
But it's also the shift that we're seeing in the map. So you get top wave pushed in, Oscarinin goes mid, covers the mid push there, so you can't actually get the tower play. And now you've got this numbers advantage that is created on the bottom side. And even as you go for that, Humanoid TPs back up to the top side, protect the pushing wave from Azir. So across the board, Fnatic are covering a ton of these plays to set themselves up for success, but also then to cover any sort of answer from Rogue in the map as well.
Called shifting, I believe, in the technical terms. Means something different.
No.
Sure, yeah. But yeah, good shifts there from Fnatic across the map to make sure that they weren't losing much. Of course, you're still going to lose a little bit when you invest into a portion of the map like that. But as you can see, top lane tower still very healthy, mid the same. And they're doing a really good job of extending their gold lead without giving Rogue any opportunity, really, to find an advantage in this game.
But these are the things that, like, when you look at what I wanted to see improvements for from Fnatic, it's these kind of things, right? And that's why, like, ad nauseum, we're saying the Duffman effect, but it really is these small things. And now Oscarinin feeling the execute effect potentially.
Yeah, Zenith played underneath the tower. There's the Solar Flare follow-up. I don't think they have the damage. Redemption will follow here, so Adam is going to be healed up. And with Larssen coming across, they should have the damage. Oh, no! He gets the counter-strike. Adam flashes away. He's okay. He'll survive. It was almost absolute disaster. It was a moderate one. We'll say 4 on the Richter scale on that for Rogue as they lose damage on top tier 2 as well. The curtain's open, but they're closed by Mikyx. They're going to lose the mid tier 2. Fnatic takes so much on the other sides of the map.
I don't know why you send a pigeon to do a crocodile's job. Like, literally at the end of the day. But yeah, it's a bit of a disaster and a whoopsie there for Rogue. Spot's gone, mid's gone, top struggling. And Fnatic now going to be able to reset as well with the Herald in their back pocket. This is a big swing for Fnatic, exactly what they need to blow up in this game.
And it's exactly the opposite from Rogue of what Fnatic did on the previous play.
Yeah.
Like, we were just praising Fnatic for pushing out the waves, making sure you have someone who can teleport to top lane to catch that wave as it comes in. Oscar's playing mid so that he makes sure there's no pressure there. Rogue did not do that, and because of that, you'll see Fnatic push through mid with 3 people. They get top tier 1 as well. Yeah. Obviously, the dive goes horribly wrong, and they expect to kill Oscarinin a lot quicker. But even then, like, Larsen's TPing over here, you give up so much pressure on the rest of the map.
Yeah, and they've already kind of, like, because they've shoved mid, Mikyx's able to move in, get some vision, so they know they're free to move through this top side. But Oscarinin again in trouble, but
walks away.
He hops out. Razork here to cover, but again, Taliyah pushing in top side, and Adam can't contest mid or top side push. And now Upset can rotate up to catch that top wave and get that tier 2 tower as well.
When you're making plays like this, it's so important to have wave shoved in or have no wave in the lane.
Exactly.
So, like, if you have a longer time before the next wave comes in, you push forward in the lane to make sure you clear that wave out earlier, and then you survive as Adam. Well, he tries to survive underneath this tier 2. He manages to, but the tower does not, as it's now a 6,500 gold lead for Fnatic.
Yeah, and that's one of the downsides of having like a melee champion like this trying to contest against double ranged, because it's just impossible for you to contest the wave. You go forward with slice and dice, immediately Humanoid stuns you up, you don't get back out. Then you've got a bullet time that comes over the top and you die alongside the tower. So it's kind of Rogue also utilizing their players in the wrong parts.
Yeah.
Like if Larssen was there, at least he can contest the wave from afar, maybe clear it out before you're able to get the turret. But when it's a Renekton, there's just very little that he can do in these sorts of situations. So again, Fnatic like outbraining Rogue in a lot of these situations.
2 minutes on the Mountain Drake. It is a Mountain Soul for us this game. Otacon up in about 2 minutes as well. So there's the possibility of a 1-2 punch from either team there. we'll say much more likely from Fnatic right now. Rogue have spent most of this series of fights on the mat as the Rift Herald charges in towards the bottom side. Have one Might spawning. If you ride the Rift Herald, by the way, you get a lot more Mights as it crashes in, but Alpsa didn't want to put himself in what could be a little bit of a precarious situation. Mickey's going to quickness flash and battle dance his way to Humanoid. The tier 2 in the bot lane falls, and Fnatic extend their lead.
And it's kind of just waiting for Rakan to come up as Fnatic pick off every outer turret that now exists. So for Rogue, it's going to get a lot more difficult as the rest of this game goes on. You've got item completions coming in at crucial moments for Fnatic as well, when Dragon is up on Rakan to shortly follow. So Rogue, I think, basically trying to make a pick now on towards Oscarinin to get something, but he's out.
He can just stay back. Doesn't need to push forward if you don't see those little circles on the map. Don't go into an area you can be ganked. Maybe we'll call for some vision towards this top side, but looks like actually Mickey is going to invest that towards the bottom side of the map, protecting Humanoid, who is a little squishier than the Jax.
Yeah, Razork is still in his own jungle, but Rogue kind of need to get into a position where they can cover on this bottom side play, because there was a oh, actually, they're just going to go top instead. I was about to say, Fnatic can move.
Okay, he's just diving the Sun Disc. Will jump away. Larssen slides forward. Emperor's Divide coming out as well. Fnatic are beginning to collapse, but Oscarinin is tanking up that tower. Mickey with the heal will get his top laner to safety. The curtains open. The solar flare connects, and Oscarinin, you can't counter-strike the bullets from the curtain call, but Mickey can block the final one for you. Oscarinin escapes at the cost of 3 ultimates from Rogue.
And this is what we mean when we say it's still not perfect for Fnatic. A little bit of an overextension there for Oscarinin when Fnatic were rotating into position. Could have gone for the catch, but now it's actually given Rogue a little bit of respite. Push of the top wave. Not going to get a stick around for the tower, as there's still a lot of members of Fnatic on the map. Although it looks like they're feeling a little bit more comfortable as Razork and...
Oh, TP behind.
Yeah, this is why you don't go for the tower.
Okay, so we've got... Mickey has the quickness in 7 seconds time. TP's coming out from Rogue as they're about to be pincered. Mickey should just die. He immediately steps into them. Mickey, what are you doing? That was not fine at all. Humanoid looking at the seismic shove onto Larssen, but can't find it. Now Fnatic are fighting on 2 fronts. Humanoid has to flash away from the Zenith blade. Redemption coming out from Rogue as they look for redemption in this series as well. They've killed off the support, but they can't find more yet. No Emperor's Divide for Larssen. Still about a quarter of that cooldown left. But Rogue could look for the Rakan. Remember, tanking it reduces your resistances as the seismic shove comes out from Humanoid and chunks out Adam just a little bit.
It's very hard to go into this area when you've still got the bullet time for upset. And now Patrik! Oh, nearly gone.
Humanoid's on the other side of it, though. Unless he can kill Patrik quickly here, the solar flare's going to follow up. Dominos out from Adam. Humanoid caught out as he died a little bit too deep. He'll die, so will execute. Razork coming in, the bullet time, the strangle thorns. It will be enough to kill off Larssen with the Leandri's proc from Razork. So in the end, it's a 2-for-2 in the exchange, but Mickey's already back up and fighting.
Yeah, take 3 is the one that works for Fnatic. It took Humanoid going a little bit too far again, but it still ends up working out. Yeah, Adam just going to clear out the wave, and it'll be Fnatic who end up getting the Attica.
What is Attica? Oh, it's the pet. Okay. There was a thing dancing on the screen.
It took me a second as well.
Razork had hit the scuttle crab, and so the pet was jumping between them like a yo-yo on a string. Get it on a leash, Razork, okay? It's a public area. You can't have your pets just running around like this.
But yeah, this is, as you say, like this from Humanoid was quite dangerous. There is a lot of follow-up there. Execute just barely missing with the solar flare means that you get a little bit more fancy feet, but you've still got enough members of Fnatic here to try and follow through. Oscarinin getting good damage. Razork opening up with Strangle Thorns and also getting the lockdown as well to let Upset open up with the ultimate. So it does work out. And now it's kind of Fnatic, I think, we'll take a breather and look to close this out a little bit more smoothly as they can go for Dragon, they can start to stack that, and then look to just siege onto these towers and make sure there's very little Rogue can do to play out the game.
Yeah, just been a few moments of over-eagerness. Right? Oscarinin getting caught out because he went a little bit too aggressive too early when Fnatic were collapsing in the top lane. Then Mickey getting caught out because he went a little bit aggressive too early, getting caught out. Then Humanoid getting caught out because he went a little bit too aggressive too early. Fnatic should still win this game. They are so far ahead. 7,500 gold in the lead. Rogue have only got 1 tower in the entire game. They are massively behind. But for the long-term growth, you want to see those little mistakes cleaned up.
But it's the thought process was still there, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Like the intricacies of the play may not be there, but the thought process is there, and that's kind of why I'm more pumped about Fnatic. Like, you get to clean these up as the season goes on. And I think for Fnatic, they kind of said it as well, right? Like a lot of their goals are looking at internationals and looking at worlds and not just winning this one singular split.
Now they have the false life. Weaver's wall coming out from Humanoid. He tries to separate Rogue from their inhibitor tower. Oscarinin puts the counter-strike down, rooted. Solar Flare coming in as well and already had to withdraw. Mikyx going in with a quickness double charm. The bullet time into the redemption isn't going to do too much. Fnatic invests a lot and still don't fell the tower.
No wave to try and play through now, so Rogue get to hold on for the moment, even having the defender's advantage where they can send some people back to heal up if they need to, but again, this slide over eagerness coming back. He still has the Rakan.
He doesn't have flash. Daisy could look to chasing down. Yeah, he'll be okay because of the collapse coming out from the rest of Fnatic.
Nice actually from Malrang there, microing Daisy to get away from the unravel or the flick back. Means that she's able to survive because you do lose a lot of threat with your Daisy gone in the middle of these fights, but still, Fnatic, I think it's with Oscarinin having the Rakan down, it just does mean you're kind of waiting now for Baron in a minute's time to try and play through that instead. It would have been nice to crack the turret, but I don't think it's really the end of the world.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where you are deliberately playing for it, but just a little over-eager overall from Fnatic in these last few minutes. They were doing a good job of keeping the wave shoved synergistically though, which meant that Rogue had to deal with 3 different prongs of pressure at the same time. But as you say, likely we'll see Mikyx and Razork just walking into that enemy jungle together, getting a little bit of vision down. As you can see, Mikyx using the Scryer's Bloom to spot out where Rogue have planted some vision of their own. Clear this out, put your wards down, and then turn your eyes towards that Baron in 20 seconds.
Yeah, with upset resetting now, just picking up the Mortal Reminder, it does mean it's a little bit more, like, the timing for Fnatic to get this vision is a little suspect, so yeah. I think it'll be kind of another 45 seconds. But Rogue now opening up on midway, basically just trying to brute force some towers and try and get something back in the map.
Well, they're managing to get at least the wave pushed in. Upset does have that bullet time if he feels under threat underneath that tower. Humanoid is looking for a flank here, but he will be spotted on vision as he comes around this corner. Weaver's wall out. Humanoid jumps off it early. Adam's on the wrong side of it, but he's a croc and he can navigate tricky terrain, so we'll just slice through it.
Yeah, I think Fnatic would have been nice to get the pick, but at this stage now, I think you just try and play this slow, deny Rogue access to the Baron area, and try and shift Oscarinin down to that bottom side, because that's where he's a bit more of a threat than here.
Boots on Oscar, Solar Flare follow-up. That's a lot used. The Solar Flare, the key long-range engage tool from Rogue, and you can see Oscarinin immediately jumps in. Double flash coming out. Oscar is going to be locked up. The Zenith played into the charm from Mikyx. Stranglethorn's not going to find anyone, but Execute will fall on the other side of it. Larssen forced away, but he's putting some damage back in with his soldiers. Humanoid flashes, so does Malrang. And Malrang will escape. Larssen looking to open up, does have those soldiers down and is doing quite a lot of DPS.
Rogue have no vision in this Baron area though, so with both solo laners resetting, they can TP into the play, and Baron will be the name of the game for Fnatic. Trying to face check into this is miserable if you're Rogue.
It really is. It's most likely on Adam with Malrang's shields. You put the trigger seat down, of course you can use the bushes as well from Malrang. Larssen's going to be the one stepping forward for the moment. 6,000 on the Baron now. Adam has a blast cone, trying to build up that Fury bar. Humanoid does manage to clip him with some damage of his own. Oscarinin falling low. Malrang still looking for that smite, but can't get in there in time. Upset secures it. The seismic shot back on Larssen into the Emperor's Divide. Rogue will find 2, but they can not get away yet. Another seismic shove will land. Upset still has the bullet time here as well as Patrik is taken out by Razork. Adam will have to dice his way across this wall. Humanoid jumps forward. Upset flashes the wall. The seismic shot back. Zenith blade coming in. But Fnatic with the Baron now, and only Adam standing in their ways with a wave as well, will at least be able to crack the base, if not more.
Yeah, Adam's going to have to make some sort of hero play, but against 3 very strong DPS champions on Fnatic's side, it's going to be so tough. He needs to get the wave.
He needs to get the wave, but there's another one just coming in. Stranglethorns, Adam flashes away, clipped by the bullet time. And unlike Matrix, Adam couldn't dodge that. Fnatic will start up on the Nexus towers. They'll take them. Larssen the only one standing for Rogue as Fnatic find a clean 2-0.
Great stuff from Fnatic. You can clearly see the stuff that they're trying to work on off stage, and it's now starting to show itself on stage.